Hey guys, so like we talked about in class, unfortunately I can't be here today, Friday. So I've left you this video so you know exactly what to do. First off, my apologies to Period 2. You guys started this worksheet the same as the others, but yeah, time kind of got away from me, and so we didn't quite, our discussion didn't quite pan out the way I'd expected. But basically this video is for everybody, and I just want to run through what I'd like you to do as far as using Friday to get this finished. Okay. First off, at this point you may kind of understand it well enough that having this is enough and you don't need the tiles, but the tiles will be available, so if your group needs the tiles, just ask the sub. Okay, but the whole idea was this, is we were trying to figure out how to find square roots of numbers that were not perfect squares. Everything else we've done so far in the notes and in the book assignment have been numbers that were easily, if this is a word, square rootable. But sometimes we don't get that. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is a couple examples so you know what to do and how to continue with the rest, because like I said, with Period 2, we didn't even get to these two columns, so I want to just take you through the process all the way from left to right. Alright, now first off, let me get a pen here. What you're going to do is you're going to focus on what number you're trying to square root. I'm going to do 6 as an example. Alright, so number of tiles, 6. So I pull out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the idea being that I'm trying to create a perfect square. But with 6 tiles, I can't do that. I'm only going to be able to use maximum of 4, which I'm going to put my grid down here. And again, don't mind the fact that the grid and the actual tiles don't quite fit together. So just as best you can. So we get 2 extra tiles. Okay, so over here, we at least write down what happened with the 4 tiles. In the 4 tiles, the edge length of our full perfect square, the only complete perfect square we could make, was a 2 by 2 square. So it has an edge length of 2. Now, tiles that we have towards building the next perfect square, 2 leftover tiles. And then total tiles needed for the next perfect square, well, that's where you look at the grid. Okay, so here we have 4 tiles that make up this perfect square, but to get to the next perfect square, and I'm going to draw on my document here, I'd have to get to here. So I would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 2. Okay, so what we did was we talked about the strategy of if I could cut these 2 tiles into pieces, I could kind of border them along the outside edge. Alright, and so the idea is, well, if I've got 5 squares, 5 open squares to reach the next perfect square, but I only have 2 tiles, what I want to do is I want to take these 2 tiles and split them into 5 pieces. So over here, what we do, total tiles needed for the next perfect square, 5. And so when we eventually do put all those pieces in there, the edge length of this square with using cut up pieces from these is going to be the 2 from here, and the 2 leftover tiles cut up into 5 pieces, or 2/5 each. So 2 and 2/5. Okay, and this is hopefully where we got to in class. Alright, now, the part that we didn't talk about, which I'd like you to see, is that this is a great way to estimate when you don't have a calculator, but it's not perfect. Because technically, when I cut this into 2/5, my picture would have looked more like this. Here's 2/5, another 2/5, 2/5 again, and then we get another 2/5, but it would stick out a little bit. We got this little bit of extra. Alright, but we're going to ignore that because it's such a minor difference when it comes to the actual number that for our purposes, we're okay with that. But what I want you to see is how much does it differ. Alright, so right here, decimal equivalent of fraction. Now, here's where you can use a calculator. So go to the whiteboard cabinet, the second one from the right, or pull out your own calculator and use it here. So 2 and 2/5, probably easy just to do this. So 2 and 2/5, so 2 point something. 2/5, I'm just going to treat it like a division problem. 2 divided by 5, 0.4. So this is 2.4. So that's our estimate. Let's see the actual answer. So we're going to square root 6 on our calculator. Now, on my calculator, it's right here. For some of you, you're going to have to play around and find the square root key. Now, mine here is in blue, so it means I have to hit the blue button first, then that button. The square root symbol appears. I put 6, and I'm just going to go off to, let's see, 2 decimal places. So 2.44, and then dot, 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 because it continues on. Okay, but look at how little of a difference it is. We're only like 4/100ths off compared to our estimate. So that's pretty close for our purposes. All right, so let me walk you through one more, the whole process. Let's do 10. Okay, so I take out my 10 tiles. Okay, and I try to make a perfect square. In this case, again, I can't use all 10. I can use 9 of them. Will look something like that with 1 left over. So I record that information down. Edge length of my full perfect square, well, it's a 3 by 3. Tiles towards the next perfect square, 1 left over. Total tiles needed for the next perfect square, well, if I again try to line this up as best I can, I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more tiles to get to the next perfect square. Okay, so what that means is that that next perfect square with 1 tile is going to be 3, and then the 1 tile divided up into 7 pieces, so I can then just kind of put those little individual pieces around the edge. Okay. Once again, that's an estimate. So what I want to do is check to see how close my estimate is to the actual answer. So decimal equivalent of my fraction, well, it's going to be 3 point something, so I'm going to go 3 point, and then 1/7, 1 divided by 7, 0.142. Again, let's just go out to 2 decimal places, 3.14 dot, dot, dot. Now let's find the actual square root on the calculator. So the square root of 10, and once again on my calculator, it's blue button, because the square root button is in blue, 10, enter, 3.16 dot, dot, dot. Okay, once again, very minor difference. I'm only off by 2/100ths. Okay, so this is what I'd like you guys to complete. So once you're done watching this video, go ahead, pull this back out. I've left extras in case maybe you misplaced this and you can start over. Again, the tiles will be available, but if you feel like at this point you don't need them, you can just look at the grid, that's fine. And your job today is to complete this. Okay, I want you guys to do a great job for your teacher. So far we've had a great week and a half, so show me you guys can do well today with your substitute teacher. If there's any extra time and you still have to work on some of the other assignments from our module, like the book assignment on square roots, why don't you go ahead and work on that if you get this done early. Guys, have a great weekend. I will be back on Monday, and I'll see you then.